Welcome to CBC Windsor News at 6. I'm Meg Roberts. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us tonight. But what's with all the traffic at the tunnel? We're taking a look at what could be the cause, plus new footage of that Ambassador Bridge fall. We speak with the man who survived it. And a mental health and addictions crisis center in London is being called a game changer. And Windsor wants one too. We share with you why a local organization is looking to construct a similar model. More people are starting to notice delays at the Windsor-Detroit tunnel. Some say that's becoming more common, especially when major events like games and concerts are taking place in Detroit. CBC's TJ Deer joins us live from the tunnel now. So TJ, what have you been hearing from people who are trying to get across?
Well, Meg, people have told me that one person I spoke with earlier today told me that the delays the delay he sat through a couple of weekends ago is longer than what they normally experience. The delay he sat through lasted an hour and a half. He told me that border crossings here at the tunnel are taking longer than normal lately, and that it was worse for him when he was trying to come back to Windsor.
The delay after the game was longer getting back in because we had a lot of Americans coming over to have some drinks afterwards. So close to Tiger Stadium, right?
That was on the weekend of July 8th when the Toronto Blue Jays were playing the Detroit Tigers at Comerica Park.
1-0. Fly ball out to left. It's hit well, and it is gone. And we are tied in the ninth.
Lots of Jays fans tend to make the trip from Toronto to see their team take on the Tigers, and that weekend was no different. But it's not just sporting events that have caused delays at the border. Other events, such as concerts, have also caused backlogs. This past Saturday, Ed Sheeran performed at Ford Field, even bringing out Eminem for a special appearance.
Stand back to reality. Up the goes gravity. Up the goes gravity. Jump. He's so mad that he won't.
People in Windsor noticed the entrance to the tunnel backed up on Sunday.
It was backed up all the way that way, all the way that way. The whole intersection was full of cars, and there was a truck and a trailer blocking the whole intersection. And it was funny. We were just watching from up there. It was just funny to see the amount of traffic.
A Democratic congressman from New York State called the situation a train wreck and wholly unacceptable. Moore and Mostyn both say that more workers at the border would help alleviate the issues. Windsor West MP Brian Massey also says more workers are needed, saying that there are worker shortages on both sides of border crossings. Indeed, the Canada Border Services Agency is pushing to hire more workers with the upcoming completion of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Among the recommendations Massey had, set up a training school in Windsor to train and hire more border workers. The president of the union representing workers previously said he wants that too.
In terms of opening another college, which we really need, I think Windsor would be a great spot, right? And there are facilities available. It's there if the will is there to make it happen.
For Mostyn, things won't change in the short term regarding him crossing the border. However,
If it continues to persist, I probably won't, just due to the fact of by the time you have any plans set, your plans are an hour and a half, 2 hours late, and it's done by then.
So those are what people noticed during peak crossing times. So far today, no significant delays have been reported either here at the tunnel or at the Ambassador Bridge. I reached out to both the Canadian and American border authorities to respond to people's comments and concerns. So far, neither of them has responded back to me. Meg?
You had me bopping to Eminem there for a second there, TJ. Thanks so much for that, TJ. That's the CBC's TJ Deer.
You're welcome.
Well, new video tonight shows the moment a worker on the Ambassador Bridge fell into the river. You're going to want to watch the top right of your screen there. That was last Wednesday. You can see 27-year-old Spencer Baker falling into the water. It was shared by people on the mail delivery boat that helped rescue him. Baker is now at home in Chatham, Kent. CBC News spoke with him while he was recovering.
Oh my goodness, we just watched this man fall.
They told me that I'm lucky to be alive. Well, I was just working on the bridge like I always do. A fluke happened. Essentially, I was pulled over the guardrail from the road, over the guardrail into the water by my clothing. I remember laying in the water and hearing people yelling, "We're coming, we're coming."
Get him, get him, get him!
I remember laying on my boat, looking at my arm, which you can see is all bruised up.
Oh Lord, oh Lord.
I'm very grateful for those people that were there that day and were able to rescue me so fast and send that boat to pull me out of the water. Or even if those people weren't there, I probably never get to see my 4-month-old daughter again or my beautiful fiance. And just the thought of that kills me. The guy that was operating the boat, he saved my life, but I just want to let him know that I appreciate it, and I owe him, you know, all of those people, even the nurses, everyone. I'm so grateful.
Absolutely incredible story. Now, just up Highway 401, London has a mental health and addictions crisis center that's catching attention here locally. Hotel 2 Grace Healthcare says it's looking at that model as it prepares to resubmit a plan to the province. The CBC's Jason Vio went to London to see what it is Windsor wants.
I'm here in London at the Mental Health and Addiction Crisis Center run by the Canadian Mental Health Association. It's open 24 hours a day, so anyone can walk through those doors and get support. And it's also open 365 days a year with mental health counselors and others inside to help support people in crisis. Now, it's been open since 2015, and the director here calls it a game changer for this community.
We are able to decrease people's wait times within the hospital. We're getting people connected to a service. We can have immediate kind of intake for individuals. But the other benefit of the crisis center is system navigation into the system.
At the back of the building is where paramedics can park right here and drop people off who are suffering from a mental health or addictions crisis. It's a bit more private and discreet for those individuals, but it's also a way for paramedics to be in and out in about 10 minutes so they can respond to other calls here in London. But in Windsor, it's been a problem for paramedics who are stuck at hospitals waiting to offload patients, which sometimes prompts a code black in Windsor, which means there aren't any paramedics to respond to 911 calls.
It's as simple as that. Yeah. We sign a form, they give us a heads up and give us a call, let us know they're coming, what are some of the presenting concerns. Then we expect them to arrive. We see on cameras that they're arriving, and they'll talk, and then they'll do a transfer of care.
What's happening here in London at the Mental Health and Addictions Crisis Center is similar to what Hotel 2 Grace Healthcare in Windsor says it can have up and running in about 60 days, a place for first responders to take people in crisis so that it alleviates some pressure on the local hospitals, but also pressure for those first responders who are sometimes tied up waiting with those patients. But Hotel 2 Grace Healthcare says that Ontario Health didn't approve that plan. That plan was sent and denied in January. In an emailed statement to CBC News, Ontario Health says critical to this process is a review of existing community resources and collaboration to ensure resources are best used to meet the needs of the community. To date, these requirements, including the submission of a comprehensive proposal, have not been received by Ontario Health. Now, the original plan included a drop-off area for police and paramedics who had someone dealing with a mental health or addiction crisis, similar to what you see here, part of Hotel 2's long-term plans at the back of their building. But this is something they could get up and running within about 60 days. The new plan, they say, will include a walk-in component similar to what's happening in London.
It's a more civilized, humane way to deal with individuals that are dealing with these crises.
London's model also has 10 beds upstairs. These are stabilization areas where people in crisis can stay up to 72 hours. It's similar to what Hotel 2 has planned 6 or 7 years down the road. Last month, they announced another phase of a big plan to improve mental health care. That's where 68 mental health beds will be moving from Windsor Regional Hospital to Hotel 2. But Mara says something needs to happen sooner. Hotel 2 hopes to hear back from Ontario Health in September after its new plan is submitted and, if approved, open up a new mental health ER in Windsor within a few months.
So what would you give up to keep your social media? A new study at the University of Windsor found some young people would give up a lot. In fact, the findings have researchers shocked. And as the CBC's Dale Malner reports, you might be too.
Air conditioning.
Oh, yeah.
Air conditioning. That's a deal breaker.
Air conditioning.
I will tear up every social media. I don't care. You put that air conditioner on or I will kill you.
The findings of the University of Windsor study recently became the topic of conversation on The View.
That was quite a surprise, to tell you the truth.
And while the researchers don't want to rid the world of social media, they did want to find out the lengths young adults would go to maintain their connection to social media.
That they need to be on it. They need to see what everyone's doing. They compare themselves with what other people are doing.
Would you give up sex instead of social media?
Like you saying trade sex for social media? Oh, no, Sirski.
Yeah, I give sex.
You give up sex?
Sex is overrated.
For how long?
Forever.
Now, that's just one of the things the respondents in the survey said that they would give up rather than giving up social media.
The researchers here at the Human Kinetics Department at the University of Windsor surveyed 750 Canadians ages 16 to 30 to find out how much they value social media. Now, while most of the respondents would only give up less important things like caffeine or alcohol or watching television, a small percentage said that they would actually give up years of their lives or contract a deadly disease rather than giving up social media.
We were quite shocked, but it just goes to show for some people how ingrained social media is in their daily life and how much being on it means to them.
Woodruff says they chose that age group because they've never known a time without social media. But a child psychologist we talked to says these findings are concerning because of what a worldwide study discovered about the mental health status of young adults.
And what they found is earlier or younger you were when you got your first internet-enabled device, the poorer your current mental health status was.
However, most of the people we talked to wouldn't give up anything important to keep social media.
I don't know, I think it's kind of toxic in some ways, you know, kind of crazy. I'm not really on it that much.
I'm not too big on social media myself, so I don't mind giving it up.
10 of them would rather gain 15 pounds and shave their heads. What?
Todd Cunningham suggests parents should try to delay the age their children engage with social media as long as they can, but it might be hard considering what people are willing to part with once they're logged on.
And so like everything, it's, you know, it's in moderation.
Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
Officials in Chatham, Kent say a mosquito has tested positive for West Nile. It was found in a trap that was sent off for testing last week. Now, it's not uncommon for mosquitoes with West Nile to be found in our area. There was a lab-confirmed human case of West Nile last year in Windsor, Essex. The health unit says most people who test positive have no symptoms. Severe symptoms could include confusion and vomiting, but scientists are concerned about where these mosquitoes are showing up. As CBC's Terry Reith explains, they're now being found further north than expected.
On a summer day, it's great to play until the mosquitoes come out.
They're just the worst. They're like everywhere, especially in like the grass and stuff. So I'm like walking through fields, just biting me all over and it gets so itchy.
I hate them. If there's a mass extinction on the planet, I would beg it to be mosquitoes. They're a nightmare.
Now one more reason to loathe the creatures. A so-called urban mosquito named Culex pipiens, one that carries the West Nile virus.
What we're seeing here is Culex pipiens in every level of development.
They breed quickly, they thrive in cities, and all it takes is a bit of standing water, a catch basin, bird bath, even a puddle to create multiple generations.
I will say we have been surprised at the scope of how well Culex pipiens is thriving in our city and in this new environment. So we are gearing up to, we're trying to get the message out because it really is something new.
The breed first arrived in southern Ontario in 2001, and the first West Nile virus cases in humans were seen a year later.
These are the invasive mosquitoes we've been talking about.
Experts say it's now proven it can survive a prairie winter.
It's able to colonize human habitats extremely well because it can use our homes as overwintering sites, so it can survive cold winters. It's invasive because it's not from this area and it spreads very rapidly when it gets into new habitats.
West Nile virus is generally mild, but can cause severe neurological problems. The virus can also affect pets and horses.
But I do think that there's a growing realization that with climate change and with the number of invasive mosquitoes in Canada rising, that this is going to be a problem that isn't going away and we need to start addressing it.
One more reason to avoid mosquitoes, and when you can't, use bug spray. Terry Reith, CBC News, Edmonton.
Well, we all know sometimes the rain comes with a little disappointment, especially if you have fun outdoor plans. But some crafty kids turned those puddles into a splash pad this weekend with the help of some friendly drivers. Now, this video here, it will put a smile on your face. We've got it slowed down here. Wait for it, wait for it. Talk about a soaker and making the most out of the weather. The kids were holding a sign up on Langlois Street in Windsor asking cars to splash them. One of the moms told us about 50 cars drove by and it just made their day.
It's nice seeing kids have genuine fun outside, not being on their tablets, YouTube, all of that, like making fun out of what we actually have, like we did when we were kids. So it was just really nice, and I feel like it was a positive thing for just everybody in general just to see, and I think it really lightened up everybody's day. Like, I'm really happy.
Well, those kids were certainly having fun in the rain. Is there any more of that in the forecast? We talk with our meteorologist Colette Kennedy coming up. Investigators are heading to Wallaceburg. They're trying to determine if a tornado may have touched down. Take a look at the photos posted to social media. This is from Craig Dunmore showing a giant tree knocked to its side. Other photos also showed flooded roads and nickel-sized hail. The storm hit at around 6:45 on Friday. This is just one street. There's no reports of any injuries. The area was under a severe thunderstorm warning from Environment Canada. That warning includes the potential for a tornado. Now, a team of investigators with the Northern Tornadoes Project will be on site to see if a tornado did touch down. Environment Canada is saying that it's an important part of the process so that they can help improve those alerts and warnings in the future. Now, Colette Kennedy is here with us. Colette, it seems like we can't get away from this kind of turbulent weather. Does it look like we're getting a break from all the thunderstorms?
Yeah, and if we look locally, I'm going to say we'll have a few days. Yeah, but it's not out of the forecast in terms of it is July, and when we get some humidity, you know, we tend to see these things kind of bubbling up, and then if there's any kind of trigger or lifting mechanism, that's when we can have that chance of it really becoming severe. So let's say the next couple of days we should be okay, and as we get towards Thursday, I'll start to watch things a little more carefully as we get closer to that. And just speaking of the severe weather and the kinds of patterns we're seeing, yeah, there's a reason I'm starting off here in the desert southwest of the U.S. Phoenix today tied its record. So it's now 18 days in a row where they have seen a temperature of 110 or 43 Celsius degrees or warmer. And you can see they're well over that 43 at this point. But it's not only the daytime heat. So that's 18 days in a row. That's the tie. It's the overnight lows. So the overnight lows have been 32 a low. 32 degrees or warmer now for 8 days. And in many cases, they're well over that 32 for 8 days. And that's a new record altogether from when they've been keeping them since 1880 in that part of North America. So we come back here and relatively speaking, we have had a cool or at least closer to normal season. In some cases, actually on the cooler side. Today, in many cases, the high was close to normal, and there's just a little bit of cooling that's happened in some of these areas because of some highly isolated pop-up showers. Yes, that trend with the humidity that have come into play. So looking at some of the sustained winds, lighter out of the southwest generally in terms of what we've been seeing here. And so those winds as they're coming through, well, okay. We're into territory that I didn't want to go to here. We're into southern Quebec, which speaking of, and my system's kind of acting up on me, but speaking of, we're talking about the Wallaceburg potential tornado there. I'm just going to reset things for us, folks. But also, we know from the storms last week that there were 3 now confirmed tornadoes that we have that we're contending with from the Ontario and Quebec areas, and that's what that was a closer look at. So here I am trying to get things reset because I'm now down to a minute, and we'll get that system kicking in for us again. Sometimes it jumps on us. There we go. There are the current temperatures. I wanted to show you these. I want to show you the humidex value. I want to show you some of the isolated cells that popped up, but those are well to our east or to our south. And that's why I think we're going to be okay through the evening hours. So into tomorrow, yes, we do have some smoke in the upper level mostly, but even a bit at surface. So we do have that air quality that's on the moderate level, so there is some breathing concerns. I think that will kick out tomorrow. And so as I take you through Tuesday and Wednesday, that's why I see a bit of a break for us with some nicer conditions, Meg. And then it's Thursday, Friday, we'll start to watch things for some active weather coming towards the end of the week.
Colette, you even make the technical glitches look easy. Thanks so much for that.
I can't believe I went and sat down, fixed things. Come on back. That's how it goes some days.
I know how you work. Thanks so much for that, Colette.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Well, stick around. We'll be back right after the break. The 2023 North American Indigenous Games are officially underway in Nova Scotia. CBC's Josh Hoffman reports.
There really is something for everyone here, and that's why, despite the rain, it'll be hard for you to find a face that isn't smiling. There's entertainment, food, games, and crafts. The village is a place for athletes to meet each other and for you to meet all different types of people. It won't take long for you to notice athletes and others trying to trade pins with one another.
When you trade pins, you make friends also. I gave my pins out, but if they don't give me pins, they're just like, you're cool, you're chill.
It's a very great opportunity to get everybody engaged with each other province or like from the States, because nobody's really going to reach out if they don't know you. So this gives not just the youth, but the chaperones and anybody else who's participating in NAG an opportunity to reach out to somebody else, to trade a pin, to make that connection, to make that friendship.
Yeah, well, I think it's just making connections with people. Well, these pins here, here's a Team BC pin, and this Team BC pin, it's part of a set of 3, and lots of people try to get these sets, and I think for all these other provinces and states, they want to get Team BC pins, and I think they want to make these connections with people, get all these numbers, get all these social medias, just to make a really tight-knit community across Turtle Island in Canada.
The Cultural Village also gives you an opportunity to get a taste for the competition. You have the chance to learn traditional Mi'kmaq games, including Waltets.
Well, for us, in our communities, when it's being played, there's a lot of social activity going on. There's that interaction. And if you're able to use the language, you'll learn about the history of your people, and you'll learn about the history of the person that you're playing against. So this is how we kept our language and our lineage connections alive, and the historical aspects of our existence here was done with, through this interaction.
The Mi'kmaq are hosting the games, but there are people from different nations from all across the continent. Each of them brings something unique to the village.
We have so many nations here and everybody's coming together. Everybody laughs. We laughed so hard yesterday. My stomach hurt, my cheeks hurt. And we're just meeting amazing people. So hopefully we can get together. A lot of us are going to, hopefully they come down to my community and we're going to go out and take them out. And then I got invited back here. So just to visit and stuff and go see all the nations and stuff. Yeah, so it's beautiful. I just love it. I'm so happy.
Whether it's the athletes, the vendors, or even the spectators, everyone is just really happy, grateful, and proud to be here. And people seem less concerned about the competition than they are with building relationships that will last forever. Josh Hoffman, CBC News, Halifax.
Well, that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, go to our website at cbc.ca/Windsor. We're on social media too. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night.